Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and today we will be watching along with Klaus Schwab in 2016. Rather spry back then, by the way. Really, that's why I'm going to start this with him receiving an award. We could have probably started at a minute and a half in, but I want to see you. I want you to see him jump up to the stage with glee for his award as he talks about, and I kid you not, within the first few minutes, the end of society and it being driven not by the invisible hand anymore, but the innovative hand. And what does that mean? Well, there's a reason I did a film called Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. Because if you go back to the Bernaysian days when propaganda was first being coined in his book, the opener talks about this invisible hand. These people behind the scenes that were pulling the strings, okay, that most people did not know their names or what they were doing. And now Davos has become an outward vehicle for that agenda. And when we talk about the quote-unquote innovative hand, think about people like Elon Musk who are being pushed as the innovators who are doing nothing more than what? Promoting this fourth industrial revolution via their technology, via the Neuralink, the brain chips that have already been developed by DARPA, not several decades ago, but we're talking about 40, 50 plus years ago. The innovators like, again, Elon Musk, that Dennis Bushnell praises, via NASA, that are running military cargo, okay, and militarized space satellite systems via their SpaceX contracts. The innovators, okay? So we're going to watch that, and then we're also going to watch a recent Davos video, because I constantly go over this, and I say that people like Peter Thiel are also not your friend. Remember, Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, two of the people behind what? The first digital money, PayPal. The innovators. So again, out from the shadows of the invisible to the innovators. But always remember that Peter Thiel is a steering member at the Bilderberg Group. That's part of the invisible hand that now Klaus openly espouses amongst his predator class minions of the elite, of course. Okay, and I don't like to call them elite at all, but that's like what they like to call themselves. Where do you see this? You look at this place where he is getting this award, and it's something out of a Kubrick film. Oh, yes, Lord Klaus, telling us about the end of society and stakeholder capitalism and a whole lot of Johnny nonsense about helping society. No, not helping society, not helping real humanity, but unfortunately pushing forward in a very real transhumanist predator class agenda. So we're going to play all that, and then we're going to play this video of the World Economic Forum. And the reason I brought up Thiel is using blockchain technology for refugee camps. That's what it's for. It's for the regulation of all human beings. So what I need you to do is thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. There's plenty of trolls out there trolling Jason Bermas with anonymous Twitter accounts that are created in the last 2 months that espouse nonsense. So listen, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. Let's hit 67,000 today. That'd be great if we got 100 subscribers. If you guys found some of Jason Bermas's older videos, like Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and you virally emailed that to people, and you virally shared it via whatever social media platform you want, we get 100 more subscribers today. Bring in the people from the cat videos. And I want to remind people to Rockfin. We're on the verge of 54,000 there. That's where we're uncensored. That's where we can get into the hardcore topics like Hunter Biden's laptop, completely uncensored. Can't do that on other platforms. Can't get into some of the aspects of COVID-1984 when we're streaming on YouTube. It's unfortunate. And of course, the audio stuff, and we got video casts, are over at Podbean. It's the infowarrior.podbean.com. This is another great way just to support me by making a Podbean account. And when we do stream live to Podbean, which we do often, you are able to call into the show now. We can actually take callers and have been doing that. And I want to thank those who have participated in that and helped the show grow with the audience. We are on Odyssey, which has backed up my channel. I want to thank them for that. And I want to remind people, all the documentary films are free for a reason. This is what I want you to share. Loose Change, Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. So let's get into it. Now, I'll probably talk over a little of this right here as it comes up. Because there he is. Look, he's spry, man. See him just run right up there? Let's watch that again. Okay? Again, this is 2016, but watch him go. Boom! Just hops right up there. No problem. No problem. He's hopping sauce. Okay, there he is. He's getting it. Okay, let's pause it. We don't need to see him pose with everybody. We can fast forward. Oh, there he gets his medal. Oh, there. Oh, thank you so much. Now we'll get to hear him talk. You know, and again, this is the university class, the academic class. He'll talk about academia in this as well. And it's all a facade. It's all a fraud. Okay? It will be rules for thee, okay, but not for Klaus and the gang, okay?
Honorary President Clausen, for being back at INSEAD. I remember the first time I was here 40 years ago to discuss the possibility of a professorship here. I would like to express also my appreciation to the Society of Progress, because what you are doing is absolutely essential.
See, again, he's getting this is the Progress Medal Conference. This is the Society of Progress. Get ready for the type of progress they want for you and I.
And here, just a short word of thanks to Subi, because Subi, in the development of the forum, and I have to add, in the successful development of the forum, you have been a major driver, friend, and partner. Thank you. Now, we talk about capitalism and the role of the enterprise. And that's what you are driving also in the Society of Progress.
He's literally going to openly talk about techno-fascism here. And that's what this is. You know, it's not even that thinly veiled. We're talking about business, enterprise, firms in society and their roles in society. And boy, we've seen some roles recently in this new culture of, hey, if society doesn't like it, we don't care. We'll just cancel those people. We'll go along with whatever we're told in this authoritarian nightmare.
But I was thinking, listening to the first panel, we stand for something where we do not have even a good definition for. Look at capitalism when it was introduced. So many definitions. When we talk about the role of the firm, who can tell me now what really the role of the firm is? I always get upset if people say business has to pay back to society. It's nonsense. Business is part of society.
So he's actually kind of telling the truth right here, but then he's going to promote the idea of how they now have to help society and drive humanity. And look, business in many ways obviously drives societal norms and mores, okay? When we talk about industry and how it shapes our lives, it shapes it on multiple levels, and that's pretty obvious. But again, Klaus wants us just to submit to authoritarianism, to techno-fascism, to stakeholder capitalism, to a social credit score where you're fooled into believing you somehow have some kind of stake or equity in that business. It's bullshit.
So we have to define the role of business as being true part of a society. I also would argue that the discussion we are having here may be completely different in 5 to 10 years.
Again, this is 2016. And believe me, it won't be that much different. It'll be just a bigger push towards automation, control, and biomedical tyranny.
Because the fourth industrial revolution will change the whole context, not only of business models, but also of policy making, of government-business relations.
See, there's the fascism. It's not just business models. It's the relationships between them. It's governments. It's policies. It's everything. It's the end of society. And he smiles as he says it.
I just used the word agile government and of society. I would really say, and it was my friend Jim who just coined this expression.
Well, I'm going to go back to that because he says end of society, and they couldn't be happier about it. And that's why when they tell you they're changing everything, he means it. And he talks about an angrier world. Well, when you change society on this level, when you go after humanity, yeah, chances are you're going to have an angrier world.
And of society. I would really say, and it was my friend Jim who just coined this expression, we will see an environment which is not so much governed and influenced by the invisible hand, but by the innovative hand.
Yeah, not so much by the invisible hand, but by the innovative hand. In other words, we're rolling it out in public. And they did. They rolled the Great Reset agenda out into public. And there's this new religion that is very tied to techno-fascism, whether you realize it or not. The Trojan horse civilian systems we talk about on this program. 200 plus watching. We need 100 thumbs up, guys. Come on, let's get this info out. Klaus is telling you about what? The end of society, the fourth industrial revolution, that society has been driven by the invisible hand, and now it's our coming out party with the quote-unquote innovative hand.
But let me be very pragmatic. And let me not maybe give a better definition for capitalism, even if I would argue that capitalism, socialism, and communism are part or have been outflows of the first three industrial revolutions, because all those three terminologies are geared to the production mechanism.
He's right about that, by the way. And he's right about the types of societies and how business is supposed to operate in those societies and the class systems there. And they were tied to the different industrial revolutions that we had. Okay? But now he's going for it global, baby.
And I could argue that possibly the next phase could be called talentism, because it's a human resource, human creativity, which will be really the driver of the economy.
See, that's the fake, that's the lie, right? That's trying to fool you. That's trying to fool you into believing that if you're allowed to track, trace, and database everything we do, we're going to have a merit-based society with the most talented rising to the top. That is horseshit.
But let me, and in the introduction, Julie, you mentioned the stakeholder concept. Joe, you referred to it. And being probably the person who has first written about it in 1971 in a book on modern management.
You see what I'm talking about? This whole social credit score, stakeholder capitalism, really intrusion on your life, the false belief that somehow, again, if you're a good citizen, you will be rewarded. No. Again, it will be rules for the peasant class, for the serf class. Meanwhile, the predator class will not be beholden to these rules, and you will be shoved into a techno-fascist biomedical nightmare that makes COVID-19 84 look like Christmas. That's the truth.
Let me just take this as a very pragmatic approach, how we should see social responsibility of the enterprise.
And think about social responsibility these days. Social responsibility is trying to sexualize your children. Social responsibility is to accept non-binary zeros and one transhumanist behavior as genders. Okay? Societal behavior is what? Telelearning, the metaverse, social media that is controlled by authoritarians. Think about this.
First, yes, corporations, in my opinion, should not only serve shareholders, but all those who have a stake in the company, which means the stakeholders. Now, very often, This concept is attacked by people saying, how can you serve several masters at the same time? Because the expectations of the different stakeholders are different. Now, it is the role of the management of the company to find a compromise. And there is one thing all stakeholders have a common interest in, and it's the long-term survival, prosperity, and risk resilience of the company.
So let's just stop what this really is. This is collectivism to empower what? The company, the business, the firm, the quote-unquote greater good of society, and crush the individual. That's what he's really talking about. And he's making it sound like it's somehow going to empower the individuals that work for these companies in this, pseudo-union stakeholder capitalism fantasy. When in actuality, again, it is about collectivism. That is what globalism really is. Okay, that is what the New World Order is at its essence. All right, it is not about any other ism other than collectivism, where you will do the bidding for the greater good of the predator class that sits atop.
So the role of the company, if you take the stakeholder of the corporate management, if you take the stakeholder concept, is to ensure the long-term prosperity of the company.
So again, if you got to crush the little guy, if you got to cover things up, hey, we've got to protect the company, not the individual. They're very outward about this.
Now, the World Economic Forum, we have developed this concept, and we make now a differentiation between the stakeholder concept on the micro level and on the macro level.
See how it's different again? Oh, those good people at the World Economic Forum. Oh, that Davos crowd.
The micro level is just how I described it. The macro level is that the enterprise not only has to serve its stakeholders, but has become itself a stakeholder of our global commons.
Of our global commons, of global governance, of techno-fascism, of authoritarianism, okay, of the destruction for democratically elected individuals via constitutional republics to have any say of our lives. You get it? Those systems are over, according to Klaus and the gang.
Because who is in charge of our global commons? Governments alone, civil society alone, business alone cannot address the big challenges which we have in the world. So we need collaborative processes.
There are already collaborative processes. And really what you need is separations of power and accountability. All right, that's the reality. And that's what we don't have and why we're being driven into this via Klaus.
So business has to serve stakeholders, and business is itself a stakeholder of our global society. Now, what does it mean in practical terms? We speak about social responsibility, social engagement of corporations in society. But if I come back to the need to measure what we really want to do, it's all too vague. We have to, of course, we speak about triple line, responsibility, and so on. But in a concept which I proposed 5-6 years ago in foreign affairs, I would argue that there are 6 dimensions, 6 pillars of real social engagement of the corporation in society.
Now, again, just think about what the social engagements of major corporations have been in this country, okay, in the last 2+ years, and really globally. Think about what the Facebooks have done with censorship, the Twitters have done with censorship, okay? The sports organizations have done to their athletes when they've spoken out. Think about what the entertainment companies have done. Is this in alignment with us supposed stakeholders at the bottom? Of course not. Of course not. But what does Klaus want to do? He wants to empower them more on behalf of this agenda.
The first one, of course, is good governance. Observing the rules, I don't have to waste any time with it.
Observing the rules. The good governments that observe the rules of global governance, a.k.a. the UN, the WHO. All right? Remember that the tigers with no teeth, right? Back in the day. And now we've seen their power. And by the way, 300 plus watching. Let's get 200 thumbs up, guys. Let's do it. Thank you.
The second one is the traditional way, philanthropy, which is still certainly justified if we support with money organizations like, I take Médecins Sans Frontières or others who really deserve public support. And business as a stakeholder belongs to the public in this respect.
So once again, most philanthropists, most of these foundations are not good. They are tax-free. They work with the military-industrial complex and global governance, okay? And now he's saying, we only want them to work with the organizations we say. These have been protections for people like Bill Gates, for people like Warren Buffett and Bloomberg and Ted Turner for decades. It is a fraudulent system. This man reeks of fraud.
The third dimension is actually the multi-stakeholder responsibility, which means to take care of the interests on the micro level of all your stakeholders, to take care of your employees, not to pollute your river or whatever it is. Fourth dimension.
So again, make sure the serfs are happy. Really doesn't mean they're happy. It means they're in line with their agenda. That's what it really means.
And that's a new dimension. The fourth dimension is what I call social entrepreneurship. Promoting social innovation. A company today, I think, has the responsibility to use its creative and innovative forces in its own field to produce product or service innovation which enhance humankind.
See that? And what is enhancing humankind these days? It's breaking down the norms of society. It's breaking down the nuclear family. It's breaking down human-to-human human-to-human relationships. Do you understand? That's the reality. That's what he's really pushing with when he's talking about this social aspect. We're now seeing it on so many levels. We saw it across the board via COVID-1984. This is it. They're going for the whole deal. The fourth industrial revolution is you. And as Klaus has told you previously, not everyone can be what? A robot polisher.
So it may be impact investment if you are a bank, or it may be hydrogen cars. But you have to use your innovative capability to serve humankind. The fifth dimension is what I said before. It comes out from the stakeholder concept on the macro level. Corporations have to engage together with governments and civil society, and I would say together with academia.
You see that? It is full collusion. And we're seeing that now. Right? Trust the science, Bernaysian talking points, only certain intellectuals being able to espouse their ideas without being censored. This has all come to pass now. Yeah, if you don't think that the fourth industrial revolution train is choo-chooing, think about what this guy's telling you.
And the young generation into addressing the big issues of the world.
And their issues are command and control. What? Their climate change without any real solution other than what? You have to pay carbon taxes. You have to be locked down. You can't eat certain foods. You can't drive certain places. Everything about command, control, collectivism, and authoritarianism under a what? Predator class road to a transhumanist nightmare.
We, the World Economic Forum, is a platform for helping business to doing so. And I could now enumerate numerous examples of such cooperative efforts to really bring change, positive change to society. Now, the sixth dimension is that corporations have also the responsibility to promote values, moral values.
Boom. It's right there. Moral values. Do you get it? If you don't think or act a certain way, you're fired. Corporations have no business whatsoever being in your personal life. Remember when the customer was always right? Remember when it was about whether you could move something? Remember people like Michael Jordan who never talked about politics? Why? Because Republicans and Democrats bought Nikes, folks. That's what he said. But not anymore. And I hate using the term woke, but you don't think Davos had something to do with birthing this woke, nightmarish culture we are now living under? Come on. Still not at 200 thumbs. Let's get those thumbs up, guys.
We had a task force, a Global Agenda Council task force, and the task was, or the assignment was, define, not in big words, define in a very simple way the three values or four values a company should stand for and defend. Here's the three. The first one is you have to respect and enhance the dignity of each individual.
You think they give a fuck about you and your dignity? Get out of here. This is, again, it all supposed to sound great. But what is it really about? It's about squashing free speech and you not being able to address things that you no longer like about human beings, about certain types of people. You no longer being able to express yourself in a free manner. That's the reality. This is about control and censorship, just like hate speech laws were. Come on.
Second, you have to exercise in everything which you are doing intergenerational responsibility.
Intergenerational responsibility into everything you're doing. Again, command and control. We'll tell you what's going to be bad for the next generations. And again, if that means that you've got to live in a pod, or you can't travel, or you can't have a car, or that we have to lock things down, or you have to eat printed food, so be it. It's intergenerational.
And number three, you have to serve the community you are part of. Now, let me make a last remark here. If you want to serve the community, if we are leaders of a company or leaders anywhere, and we want to serve our community, we also have to have a great degree of modesty, not last expressed in your own demands vis-a-vis the company. Now,
you know what that says? Your demands, you have to be modest when demanding anything from the company. Oh, watch what you ask for. We'll decide how much human dignity you have.
Oh, just coming back to the last panel, it's very clear. Social progress is not possible without economic development. But economic development is not sustainable without social progress. And our belief at the Forum is, at the end, economic development is based on entrepreneurship, on the individual, not necessarily only on the markets. I think what is more important is the individual and his productive, creative force.
Nothing about this entire speech empowered the individual. Okay? And that's the inverse of reality that he tries to sell you on at the end. You get that? Nothing was about the individual. Not a goddamn thing, except for keeping that individual in line with an authoritarian structure and narrative.
But entrepreneurship has always to serve the global public interests.
It never serves the global public interest. Get out of here.
Thank you.
It's nonsense. Nonsense. And instead, this is what it's going to serve. Blockchain refugee camps for the UBI humans that are around. This is Davos. Oh, the refugee camp that runs on the blockchain. Oh, supermarkets without physical money. It's great. Oh, that's so awesome. They pay you to look into a camera. Oh, hold on. They got a nice iris scanner for you for the World Food Program. Hold on. We gotta get rid of this, and we gotta get some other stuff going. 1 second here, guys. Is that it? No. Let's see. It's this down. Bam. So yeah, iris scanner connects you to the World Food Program accounts for your blockchain slavery. All right. There's a whole bunch of nice refugees that are looking for work in line at their camps. It's biometric. It stalls their digital identity. Part of this fourth industrial revolution. Who needs passports, exam certificates, financial histories, right? Huh? Yeah, things aren't getting destroyed now more and more during conflicts. World War III isn't openly being discussed on the mainstream media? Huh. Hostile governments. Oh, okay. We haven't seen that. Oh, look at that. Paying aid directly to refugees. And instead of all the transaction fees, we'll cut that by 98% with our slave blockchain technology. No need for cash or a bank account. Oh, it's all for that World Food Program. Just great. For the slave camps. For humanitarian aid. For your soup lines. It's lovely. There they are. They're great people. Folks, almost 400 people watching this one. Can we get the 300 thumbs up? Go all the way back. He openly talks about the quote-unquote end of society gleefully. From the invisible hand to the innovative hand, the crushing of any real democratic processes, any real checks and balances. All the documentary films are free. Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture. You want to support this broadcast? I could use 10 new subscribers. You go to the desktop, you go to rockfin.com, ROKFIN.com, you hit the subscribe button, you endorse Jason Bermas, $9.99 a month, or lock it in for the entire year, $99.99 for the year. That's where you're going to find information that is not leaning conservative or going progressive. You got it? It's in reality. It's not about left or right. It's always about right and wrong. I'm not a Democratic person, a Republican person. I am a constitutionalist at best, and I am a human being that is encouraging other human beings to wake everybody up so we can battle this very real great reset agenda on behalf, okay, of a predator transhumanist class. Like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you on the flip side.